Tonight's Lancaster Symphony Orchestra concert has opened with Let the River Be Unbroken, a work by George Tsontakis for orchestra and three narrators. The composer served as one of the narrators and was joined by Teresa Mastrobuono and Liam Ryan. I am Stephen Gunzenhouse, a music director of the Lancaster Symphony and conductor for tonight's program. In just a moment, the program will continue with the Symphony No. 1 of Gustav Mahler. Thank you for joining us this evening. You are listening to WITF's Center Stage. Welcome back to WITF Center Stage. I am Stephen Gunzenhouse, a music director and artistic director of the Lancaster Symphony and conductor of tonight's program. The second part of the concert is devoted to the Symphony No. 1 of Gustav Mahler. Mahler himself named it the Titan Symphony after a famous novel by the German writer Johann Richter. But in his revisions, he dropped the name and the descriptive titles he had written for each of the movements. This particular piece is one of the most significant in all of Gustav Mahler's repertoire. When he wrote this piece, he was still inheriting an architectural form from the German Romantic period. And yet he infused in it sarcasm, depression, glory, and ebullience. It is really quite remarkable when you consider the old tune Frère Jacques that everybody knows. And he puts it in the double bass in the minor key. Now, it's very interesting because he also puts down it should be played with a mute. When most orchestras do this, they do it as Mahler intended with the mute on the double bass. The problem with that is that when you do it with the mute on the double bass, it almost sounds out of tune the whole time, which is a joke that doesn't quite work. And so I have instructed our principal bass player, Brent Edmondson, not to use a mute, but to play softly, as if he were playing with a mute. As a result, the humor of Frère Jacques being in this minor key rather than the major key becomes much more significant and has much greater impact as a good joke rather than a bad joke badly played. In addition, some of the melodies of this remind me personally of the kind of klezmer bands that you hear in Eastern Europe. And Mahler brings that into this entire melange of fabrics of different influences as he concludes the third movement. The fourth movement is as if a bolt of lightning strikes upon us and creates this remarkable sound which pulls together this whole symphony. Now let's listen to the Mahler Symphony No. 1 performed with great energy.